Well, the NRA is in the news again, and just like last time, it's in big trouble. You might recall the last video I did about the NRA and the dozen or so lawsuits the organization was sinking under due to the rampant financial corruption of its upper echelon, most notably from Wayne LaPierre himself. A series of full-out implosions happened afterwards, as pretty much anyone and everyone except LaPierre was ousted from the organization. The original attack, bringing all of this to light, was spearheaded by New York State because the NRA is chartered there, making it easier for the state to throw its weight around.
I have made a series of very bad decisions.
Now, the New York Attorney General, Letitia James, has filed a new lawsuit, this one aimed at dissolving the NRA completely. Before I continue for today, today's video is brought to you by the help of Palmetto State Armory. Palmetto State is a veteran-owned company based in my future home state of South Carolina and works to bring you the best deals on tactical goods, tools, and accessories. To help the channel, just do your regular Palmetto State shopping through my link down in the description. James recently held a press conference accusing the NRA of fraud and illegal conduct, including mismanagement of funds and violation of state and federal law.
The NRA diverted millions and millions of dollars away from its charitable mission for personal use by senior leadership, to award contracts to the financial gain of close associates and family, and appeared to dole out lucrative no-show contracts to former employees in order to buy their silence and continued loyalty. Altogether, there are 18 causes of action, and these actions violated multiple laws, including the laws governing the NRA's charitable status, false reporting on annual filings with my office and the IRS, improper expense documentation, improper wage reporting, improper income tax withholding, failure to make required excise tax reporting and payments, payments in excess of reasonable compensation to disqualified persons, and waste of NRA assets, amongst other offenses.
She's not wrong about the mismanagement of funds, or the loss of tens of millions of dollars, or the corruption that's been embedded in the NRA for several years at this point. What senior leaders were doing is bad. What they probably continue to do is bad, as I know for a fact that several board members who attempted to hold people responsible for these actions were flat out kicked off the team.
You're killing me, Smalls!
Again, if you want to know all the details, you can check out the previous video, which I'll link in the cards and in the description. At any rate, the AG acts as if she's concerned that the NRA went against members' interests. Really, I think we can all assume that that's just a good excuse for an anti-gun state to get rid of an alleged gun rights organization. And I say alleged only because of some questionable decisions that the NRA has made over the years.
Come at me, see what happens.
The lawsuit was filed in Manhattan Supreme Court and specifically names NRA CEO Wayne LaPierre, as well as NRA executives Wilson Woody Phillips, John Fraser, and Joshua Powell. It reads, with the assistance of Phillips, Powell, and Fraser, LaPierre abused his position as a fiduciary to the NRA to obtain millions of dollars in personal benefits in the form of undisclosed excessive compensation, which includes in-kind benefits and reimbursements from the NRA and its vendors. Her press conference also focused in on LaPierre, talking about his abuses specifically for several minutes.
The central figure behind this scheme was none other than Mr. Wayne LaPierre, the national face of the NRA, who was entrusted with running its day-to-day operations. Mr. LaPierre exploited the organization for his and his family's financial benefit and the benefit of a close circle of NRA staff, board members, and vendors. Specifically, Mr. LaPierre spent hundreds of thousands of dollars of the NRA's charitable assets for personal private plane trips for himself and his family, including extended family when he was not present. He visited the Bahamas by private air charter at least 8 times in an approximate 3-year period with his family at a cost of more than $500,000 to the NRA. He traveled on multiple luxury hunting safaris in Africa at the expense of an NRA vendor. He spent millions of dollars on unwanted travel consultants for decades, including for the booking of luxury black car service. In the past 2 years alone, Mr. LaPierre spent more than $3.6 million on these travel agent services. He secured a post-employment contract for himself with the NRA without board approval, currently valued at more than $17 million. He allotted several million dollars annually in NRA funds for private security costs for himself and his family without sufficient oversight on their use. He received more than $1.2 million in reimbursement in just a 4-year period for expenditures that included gifts for favored friends and vendors, travel expenses for himself and his family, and membership fees at golf clubs, hotels, and other member clubs.
The stated goal of the lawsuit is twofold. First, the suit aims to have LaPierre and company removed from their positions and bar them from serving on the board of any other New York nonprofit now or in the future. But second, James wants the NRA shutting its doors forever.
For these years of fraud and misconduct, we are seeking an order to dissolve the NRA in its entirety, to require Mr. LaPierre, Mr. Phillips, Mr. Powell, and Mr. Frazier to make full restitution for funds they unlawfully profited and salaries they earned while employees and pay penalties. To remove Mr. LaPierre and Mr. Frazier from the NRA's leadership, and to ensure none of the four individual defendants can ever again serve on the board of a charity in New York State.
She echoed this on Twitter, saying, "We are seeking to dissolve the NRA for years of self-dealing and illegal conduct that violate New York's charities laws and undermine its own mission." Because she totally cares about the NRA's mission. Never mind that the abuses she's describing are the same abuses the government does day in and day out, and she doesn't bat an eye about that.
Yes, well, it's interesting you should point that out, Cap.
The NRA has, of course, filed yet another countersuit and calls the whole thing a baseless, premeditated attack supported by a pile of lies. Even though they're not exactly lies. Meanwhile, the Washington, D.C. AG also filed a lawsuit against the NRA and the NRA Foundation for misuse of charitable funds. That lawsuit seeks to recover the allegedly wasted money and restructure the organization's governance board. A lot of NRA members have talked about wanting LaPierre gone, and I agree with them. The NRA has strayed from its mission, and LaPierre needs to be held accountable for his actions. But this lawsuit is not it, and spells even bigger trouble for gun owners than we've already faced. Perhaps the only good thing that could come from this is that it'll prompt gun owners to mobilize even more to protect their rights. That's it for today's video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as each and every one of those things helps the channel, and we need it more than ever. You can also help support my work on Patreon, Subscribestar, through PayPal, or by using any of the partner links down in the description. Until next time, thanks for watching, stay safe, and happy shooting.